What's going on YouTube? Today is December 22nd, 2025. Nothing in this video is financial advice. Do your own research, form your own opinions. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Also, what's going on? Rumble. I'm going to put this video on Rumble too. Hit the follow, hit the like, drop a comment. Share the video. Let's talk about the Federal Reserve and the ending of quantitative tightening. What that means for us is gold and silver and platinum stackers, or whatever we're stacking. So, the Fed recently made a cut, and the Fed has talked about, well, the Fed has reduced its balance sheet reduction, which is going to re-inject liquidity. Basically, in layman's terms, they have decided to stop quantitative tightening. What's going to follow that? You can bet your bottom dollar. Quantitative easing, i.e. printing. Gold price, 44.10.19, up 69.40 for the day. Silver price, 69.15, up $1.83 for the day. It's crazy, folks. Platinum up over $2,000. Wow. 2076.75 up 96.75 for the day. Biggest mover was platinum. Second biggest mover was gold as far as dollar figures. I'm not talking percentage wise. Palladium 17.99 flat up 63.95 for the day. Gold to silver ratio 63.77 according to CMI. You all see the writing on the wall, right? We've talked about assets a lot on this channel. By the way, to my YouTube people, my Rumble people, Merry Christmas. I decided to dig out some of my Christmas silver. I have more. I didn't see it. I believe it's in a document, a fire-resistant document bag under some of my pew-pews, and I just didn't feel like digging those out to get to that. But you know, here's some I can only fit so much in the frame, but got an Atmex 10-ounce bar. That's not a Christmas round or bar. Got a prospector, of course. That's not Christmassy. Got a couple of these Christmas bad boys here, which you see showcased here. We have Baby's First Christmas 2014. Used to have a tradition with my old man. I would buy him silver every Christmas, and I would buy myself the same silver. All the Christmas silver and I have some colorized stuff, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but for the Christmas stuff, I think I have a colorized Santa. I have a colorized Frosty the Snowman, I think. Pretty cool stuff. Maybe I'll dig it out if I make another video before Christmas. I don't know. It's a lot to go through. But that was the tradition that I started and kept for a number of years. So that's something cool to think back to. Baby's First Christmas. This was just what they had, I guess, the year I ordered it. Or what I picked, given my choices. It has nothing to do with significance of a baby in my life or his life. But either way, it's a Christmas round. And I do dig Christmas silver. I do dig Halloween silver. Don't have any. I'd like to get some. I've even seen some really cool Thanksgiving silver I would like to get my hands on at some point. Anyway, things are bad. Or things, I think, are heading in a very concerning direction. By the way, Merry Christmas again to all of you. Happy Hanukkah. And I don't want to focus on that. I don't want to, ruin the holidays for all of us by not enjoying them. Our time off work, if you have it. Time with family, if you have it. And if you don't, just your time of sanity. But there's a lot of conflict going on. There's a lot of things going on in Venezuela, China. China's getting brought into it. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world. And there's uncertainty in the world with... Yeah, and I'm going to play with some silver while I'm doing this because I like to. I like the sound of money. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world. There's a lot of countries that are supporting each other at odds with other countries supporting each other. And it's damn concerning. It's not good. And of course you still have the Russia-Ukraine thing going on. I don't know if that's going to turn into a forever situation or not, but things seem to be going overall in the wrong direction as far as that's concerned. We have things in America that are expensive, and some things are coming down, but a lot of things are not, in my opinion. We have the Fed. You know, personally, I think giving into political pressure, that's just my opinion, and maybe pressure from the people to lower rates, print, make borrowing more available. Well, what's all that conflict and all that printing of cash, money, whatever you want to call it, currency, what is that going to do, potentially, likely, to asset prices? Gold, silver, platinum, palladium, stocks, maybe real estate. That's kind of a little bit separate of a deal in that and how that market responds. What's that going to do? It's probably going to raise things. So, just my opinion here, but if you don't have any assets, particularly physical, but you know, all the above, you better get on the board. You better get on that train. You better get off, you know, the sidelines. I cannot imagine living in a world where all I depended on was this. I mean, we depend on it, but where I had that solely, none of this stuff. You know, none of this stuff, no gold. It's a dangerous game. It can be, you know, we talk about how this stuff can be manipulated and is manipulated so easily. Cash is no exception. In fact, it might even be more vulnerable in a lot of ways. And if your money isn't making you money, isn't growing, you're going in the wrong direction. The Fed should be cutting rates, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But those of us who pay attention, who understand economics, geopolitics, conflicts, markets, can be in a very, very good position, potentially, to take some profits, make some gains, if we position ourselves to buy assets, and if we position ourselves to have enough of our powder dry to take advantage of those things. Which is what I'm trying to do. I have found a very, very good deal on a bullion site that I'm going to take advantage of. And I'm also going to finish, I think, all in one shot, my tube of 90% halves that I started that's half full, because y'all know how that drives me nuts. You know, I do continue to... I've slowed down some because I've been stacking silver pretty heavily lately. I mean, what am I? I want to say I've put somewhere between $1,100 and $1,600 into it since, what, Thanksgiving? What was that? The 27th of last month? So, and I've still been continuing to accrue certain ETFs and certain stocks and put money in my now like 3.657075% savings, just to keep a little cash. It's a lot, folks. You know, I got bills. I've got responsibilities. You know, life happens. I haven't had any, you know, major expenses lately. But trust me, I wish I could do more. And I'm sure you do too. But you gotta do something. You gotta find a way to do something, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. It's just my experience. I am concerned with the future of not only our country and our people in the country, but the state of the world, to a degree. It doesn't keep me up at night. Maybe it should. But I'm seeing a lot of things that... And keep in mind, you know, the things that I see that are concerning, you know, at the very least to me, they will potentially be very, very good financially for stackers of assets, stackers of, you know, and gold, silver, stocks, like I've said, platinum, things like that. I think things will be very good for us, or could potentially be very good for us. If you're in the acquisition mode, it's going to get more challenging. But what about the people in the world who aren't stacking any assets, who aren't moving forward financially, who are moving backward, who are going to take out money in the form of loans because it will be cheaper to do so, instead of tightening their own belts, their own wallets, so to speak, and buying assets and investing harder? Because that's the majority of people. So it's looking kind of grim for a lot of them, I think. And it's looking pretty sunny for us from a financial standpoint. But we have to live amongst the common person who will not do these things. And again, I personally believe, because the common person doesn't understand how it works, how markets work, they don't understand that, you know, a lot of people say lower credit card, you know, lower my credit card interest. Okay. That means we have to lower the Fed rate. That means more people will borrow, and more people go into debt, and more, you know, liquidity enters the system, more money enters the system, more cash, and buys us less. They don't understand that. They don't understand that if they choose to be a saver in the form of a savings account, that when that Fed rate lowers, lowering their interest rate on their credit cards, it also lowers the rate of savings in the bank. It's just how it works. You pay less on your interest, but you also accrue less interest if you're on the side of savings. Unless you have assets. Generally speaking, doesn't always go that way, of course. But as a general upward trajectory, that's how it works. Merry Christmas. If you're over here on YouTube, let's get to 3,100 subscribers by Christmas. We're getting so close. I think I'm 7 away. Come on. If you're on Rumble, Merry Christmas to you. Hit the like. Hit the follow. Drop a comment so I know you're here. You know, if you happen to have, if you watch any YouTube and you're, you know, over here on Rumble, go over there, show some love. I would appreciate you. Like I said, Merry Christmas, and make good decisions. Make sacrifices today, if at all possible, for a better future for tomorrow. And keep stacking.